One of the issues of this election has been the talk about the consultants that were hired for the parking. What was the city clerk's office's involvement with the hiring of those consultants, and talk to me a little bit about that.
Absolutely nothing. We had absolutely nothing to do with the consultants being hired. That all went through redevelopment. I mean, I have absolutely not a dime in my budget for any kind of a consultant or any kind of a survey or study, like that. My surveys and studies I do on the phone, to other clerks and clerk treasurers around the country. And I've done a lot of that, and I did a lot of that when when the consultants came in and suggested that they wanted a parking authority for the city. I felt like it was a poor time to hire a parking authority person and pay him or her $75,000 when the economy was bad to start with.
So if there were going to be changes made in parking, would that be something that would be run through you, or who would kind of instigate that?
I would hope so. I would hope it would be come from the mayor's office. And I have worked a lot with the controller and the deputy mayor now that we have, have a deputy mayor. But it would start at the top and then float, and I would hope they would include me. Sure. And I think they would, I think they would. Because we work with it, 5 days a week. And we started back, like I said, I started working with the officers back in 1997. And I know a little bit more about it, I think, than I did then, that's for sure. But Patty Stallhut is my parking supervisor. Like I said, when they came in, I had to have somebody, a supervisor. And so I put her in there, and she's done excellent. She has done an excellent job. And she knows every meter in Fort Wayne. She knows every street in Fort Wayne. And, of course, they're all on... like I have 2, that work the downtown area, 2 do abandoned vehicles. Were you at council the night I explained my budget, Steve? Okay. And they wanted to do away with 3 officers. Well, there would be, abandoned vehicles have to be tagged. I mean, we did over 3,400 last year. Can you imagine that many cars sitting in the neighborhoods?
Right.
And then my assistant supervisor not only supervises people on the street. Patty is inside most of the time because she has to be, because somebody has to take the calls from the radio. He monitors the disabled parking spaces, citywide. And that is a very close subject of mine, because a few years ago when Dr. Hayhurst was on city council, we met with the disabled people. And they were just really put out because that is the most abused parking in the city. People will drive and drive and drive to find a disabled parking spot right in front of the door. And so we started this volunteer program. And it was great till the price of gasoline went so high that the people couldn't afford, because we had no money. And a lot of these were disabled people that were monitoring the disabled spots, using their own vehicle and paying for their own gas. And I would absolutely love to see this program come back. And if we can ever afford to pay for their gas. And Dr. Hayhurst, we worked on that for a long, long time, trying to find a way to reimburse them for it, but the money just wasn't there. And of course, it's still not there right now. But it was a great program, because these people were disabled themselves. They know how difficult, they know how abused disabled parking is.
True.
And we listened to them and worked with them for a long time till we just had to dissolve it. And that's how my assistant supervisor, Colin, came into the picture. I hired him part-time over the volunteer program. And he was so good, when we, let's see, when Aboit was annexed, I had an additional person put in my budget for parking. Well, I found out after 2 or 3 years, we didn't need that person. So I eliminated that person and just kept holding on. So we are working with a smaller force than we did. And the same way in the clerk's office. We are working with one less person. I had one gal that moved away to Indianapolis. And I carried her, carried that position open, for a while. I thought, no, we can get rid of this position. So I didn't hire her. And now I know a couple of council people have asked me, well, because we have iPads now, why can't you get rid of somebody? Well, somebody has to put this information in to the iPads. It just doesn't go in there by itself.
It doesn't?
It doesn't. But I do have this person just working 4 days a week, and so far keeping up with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that and of course I explained that at council too.